link with them, and they can watch the recording. Please enter any questions into the GoToWebinar control panel, and I will be happy to answer them at the end of the webinar. I'm going to save some time for questions at the end. I've also included in the handout section in the GoToWebinar control panel instructions for DFP, as well as I will also put the slides in there for what I'll be going over today. So I'll put those slides right into the GoToWebinar handout section. Well, thank you for joining me. I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but just in case people weren't on the line just yet, I wanted to let you know that underwriting and ads are not required for Core Publisher. They also are not required for moving over to the responsive theme. So if you've never used ads before and you don't have any intention of using ads in the future, you are not required to do so. And this may just be a webinar where you get a little bit of information, and I'm happy to have anyone sit in, but you are not required to use ads. I just wanted to say that up front before I got into this and people were confused. All right. So today we're going to discuss what's new with ads in the responsive theme, how to connect your ads to your responsive Core Publisher site, how to create new ad unit names in the system, how to create custom ad targeting in DoubleClick for Publisher, or DFP, and what the next steps are for switching to the responsive theme. Just wanted to reiterate that reminder one more time. You're not required to have ads in Core Publisher, and ads are not required for you to move to the responsive theme. There are some changes in Core Publisher that we'll be discussing. You no longer will need to do configuration in Core Publisher. You're going to do everything in DFP once you get past that initial setup. So this is going to allow you to have more flexibility and to actually utilize all of the great things that DFP has to offer. Ads will also flow into posts. So they're going to be kind of in line with content, and I'll show you what that looks like in a few slides. And ads will also show up on your homepage, and there are a few different ways that you can configure your ads on your homepage based on what your needs are. We did update the configuration so that it can fit best practices used by Google and NPR on the npr.org site today. You have some great opportunities now that we have made all of the configuration possible in DFP. You can now have custom targeting available. So if you sell an underwriting spot to be related to a specific program, then you can just have that underwriting spot only show up on that program page. Or if you have something that specifically is designated for the home page, you can just select the home page. You can make that as broad as you want, so you can have things that go on every single post page or every single category page, or you can make that minimal, so if you only want something to show up in one place and not in others. So we definitely are using all the great things that DFP has to offer by giving you the option to do custom targeting. You will have the following ad blocks available in the responsive theme. You have a desktop, one 728 by 90, and that's that top banner ad that you have available now underneath the navigation. It's a long, thin ad. A lot of stations use it for pledge time. That will still be available on desktop. And you also have three 300 by 250 medium rectangle blocks. So some stations might have only had 2 in the past, so now all stations get 3 in responsive. You also have the tablet version, so you have the same options on a tablet. So if someone visits your site on a tablet, they will have the same options available. And you do have a mobile option as well. So if someone goes to your site on a mobile device, they will see a unique ad, and that size is 320 by 50. So you guys might be familiar with the pages that you see here on this screen. In your current Core Publisher theme, you manage ads on your site using the ad config admin screen. So if you go to Configure Core Publisher and under Other Site Management links, you'll find there's an Add Config option. You click on that Add Config option, and it's going to show you the page that looks like this image on the right. Oops, sorry. So this image here on the right is what your current admin screen looks like. You'll notice that it does allow you to connect to DFP by entering your ad unit name from DFP into Core Publisher. And then you have to choose your block placement, so you can select the block where you want the ad to appear. And then finally, you have to target to a category or home page. So you can only select category options in the current configuration. If you wanted something to show up on a specific program page or with a specific keyword, it was something that you either couldn't do or was very, very, very difficult to do. And you can see this was a little confusing, and it did have some limitations. So in the responsive theme, we have changed that. There's going to be a few different steps that you'll have to take in order to get set up and started, and I'm going to go through each one of these today. In the responsive Core Publisher theme, you will manage your ads solely in DFP. You no longer have to go to the Ad Config page in Core Publisher. That page is going to be going away. There are 3 steps to setting up your DFP account to manage ads in the responsive theme. The first step is to get connected. You have to connect your DFP account with your Core Publisher site, and we do that by getting 2 pieces of information from you. You'll have to provide us with your DFP network code, and that can be found in the admin tab, and I'll show you exactly how to get that. And then you also have to provide us with a station-created ad unit prefix. This is basically a unique identifier that your station comes up with. Most stations use their call letters. If you're Michigan Radio, you might use Michigan, but for the most part, you'll use your call letters, and you just pick whatever you want to use and send that to either myself or Rakisha Chase along with your network code, and then that's how you are going to get connected. The second step is to create ad unit names. Ad unit names will enable you to actually choose the placements and blocks where you want your ads to show up. You'll have to set these up in DFP, and there are a set of standard ad unit names that we will provide you through a CSV file that you can upload into DFP, and that's how you will start to choose your block placement. The third step is to set up targeting in your DFP line item. So you'll have to go to each line item that you're delivering, and you'll have to select targeting for it. So you'll have to say what you want to happen in that ad block for that line item. And don't worry, it sounds like a lot, but I will take you through it step by step. So let's start with the first step. You'll have to connect your Core Publisher responsive site to DFP using 2 things. We'll need you to locate your network code within your DFP admin tab, and then you'll have to tell us what you want your ad unit prefix to be. Normally, as I mentioned, these are going to be your call letters, and we will then have to take that information and we'll add it to a screen inside of the configuration for Core Publisher that looks like this. And we're just going to take that code that you give us and take the ad unit prefix that you've made up, and we're going to put it into Core Publisher. That's it. That's the only thing that needs to be done in Core Publisher from here on out. So you would send that to either myself or Rakisha via email, and we will then enter it into your Backstage site. Before I move further, if you are one of my stations, you'll be getting your Backstage login access this afternoon. I haven't forgotten about you guys. I will be getting it to you today. And if you're one of Rakisha's stations, I think she's already sent it this morning. So how do you find your network code? It's something that you're going to find when you're logged into your DFP account. Your network code is located in the admin tab. If you log into your DFP account and you click on the admin tab and you don't see this information, you might have a limited user. So there may be someone else at your station that has an administrative user that can get this information if you're not able to see it when you log in. So you get to your admin tab, and then you're going to see a few fields. It's going to be one of the top fields that you see. You're going to see this line that says network code, and that's the code that you need to email to us. The next step is choosing your ad unit prefix. Your ad unit prefix is a series of letters or something that your station creates, and it's going to represent your site. Stations usually choose their call letters or something that represents their brand identity, like Vermont Public Radio might choose an ad unit prefix that will be Vermont. Or WVXU may choose the ad unit prefix WVXU. You'll have to email this ad unit prefix along with your network ID to Lakeisha and myself. You'll want to make sure that you keep it handy for use a little bit later on. So after you've given us that information, we'll put it into your Backstage site so you can actually start to see ads show up once you complete your setup. The second step is to create ad unit names. Ad unit names are available in DFP or DoubleClick for Publisher to help show placement and where you would like the ad to show up. When a user visits your site, ads are requested from DFP. And to place your ads on your site, you will have to have at least one ad unit associated with your line item or your order. DoubleClick for Publisher will look up all placements associated with that ad unit, and then they'll look for all line items that are targeting those placements to send to Core Publisher. So there are 6 standard ad unit names that all Core Publisher DFP users must add to their account. This will allow you to select which block placements your ads will display in your Core Publisher site. There's also a series of ad units that are not on this list that are related to the persistent player, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So for your main site, you're going to have these 6 ad unit ad unit names. For the top banner section, that's going to be your 728 by 90. If you want to place something in that area, then you're going to have to use the ad unit name leaderboard_1. There's also a specific ad unit name for tablet for that same 728 by 90 placement, and that's going to be tablet_1. If you want something to show up in your right rail first block, you're going to use the ad unit name medium_1. If you want something to show up in your right rail second block, you're going to use the ad unit name medium_2. You want something to show up in your right rail third block, you're going to use the ad unit name medium_3. And if you want something to show up on mobile, you're going to use mobile_1. Now, to make this easy for you guys, what we did was we created a CSV file that contains everything you're going to need for your ad unit name. And you can take that CSV file and upload it into your DFP account. And then it's going to put those ad unit names in your account for you so that you can use them on your line items. Just to give you a little bit more information on how this all works, if Core Publisher says, please send me an ad that matches WVXU medium_1, DFP will then look for any line items in your DFP account with that ad unit name associated to it. It's going to also look for any targeting criteria that you might have specified, and it's going to look for the specific size as well. DFP will then say back to Core Publisher, here are all the ads I've identified that best fit this placement. And DFP logs any impressions and sends the ad to display on the Core Publisher page that you've selected. So once we send you that CSV file, you're going to have to open the spreadsheet, and you're going to replace anywhere that it says My Call Letters, you're going to replace it with the ad unit prefix you've chosen. So whatever you've chosen for your ad unit prefix, you're going to replace it with that. I like to open it in Excel and then do a Control F or a Command F if you're on a Mac, and just do a find and replace, and find my call letters and replace it with whatever add unit prefix you've chosen. It's probably going to be your call letters. And that way it just puts it in the right place. You do not and should not edit any other fields in the spreadsheet. I'm going to repeat that. Please do not edit any other fields in the spreadsheet. We've gone through and made sure all of the information in each column is correct and specific for what is needed for Core Publisher and for DFP. So the only thing you need to choose to edit would be the My Call letters and replacing it with your add unit prefix. So once you do that, you're going to actually log into your DFP account, and you're going to take that spreadsheet that you just saved onto your desktop or into a folder on your computer locally, and you're going to go into the Inventory tab. So you're going to select the Inventory tab from the top navigation bar at the top of your DFP account, and then you're going to find a section that says Add Units. You're going to select that Add Unit option on the left, and you're going to see that there is an option to do a bulk upload new add unit. You're going to click on that, and you're going to actually upload and find the new CSV file that you just saved with your add unit information. Importing the list of add unit names makes them available for you to use and associate with your ads that are currently existing in your DFP account, as well as any ads that you will create in the future. You will not have to recreate any of the ads that you currently display on your live Core Publisher site. You're not going to have to change any of the information from the past or that is making those show now, but all you're going to do is add some information so that they will be able to show on your Backstage site. So uploading that add unit prefix and then completing the next steps that I'm going to show you. You'll have to do that in any delivering ads that you have in DFP right now. It's not going to impact your live site. Those ads will still show on your live site. It's just going to enable you to actually see them on Backstage too. So the next step, step number 2, is associating your add unit names with your ads in DFP. So this is where you're going to tell your ads where they need to show up in your Core Publisher site. So the first thing that you want to do is log into your DFP account, and you want to go to the Orders tab. You want to click on the Orders tab, and you want to click on the name of the order with the ad that you want to display on your responsive site. The next step is to select the line item that you want to display on your site. So you'll see once you get into the order, it's going to show you all of the line items that are associated with that order. You want to find the ones that are delivering that you want to use, and you want to click on that name of that line item. The next screen you're going to see will be your line item settings tab, and this is where we're going to do all of the work right now. You're going to check your inventory tab, your inventory sizes field. So you're going to see that as the second option on the page. And you want to make sure that the following sizes are entered: the 300 by 250, the 728 by 90 for the top banner, and the 320 by 50 for your mobile. Then you want to scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you're going to see there's an Ad Targeting section. Under the Browse tab, you're going to select the Ad Units folder. Once you select that Ad Units folder, you're going to see all of the ad units that correspond with the block where you want your ad to display. And you want to select it by clicking Include. So as soon as you get to this page, you're going to see there's a Type to Filter Items field. Once you start typing in your ad unit prefix, you're going to see all of the add unit prefixes you recently added into the system. And to include them, you just want to click on the word include, and then you'll see that it will move over into the selected criteria section. Before you walk away, the most important thing to do is to click that save button and to save all of your changes. You will want to make sure you follow these steps for each one of your line items, for each one of your orders that you want to deliver live on your core publisher site. So I'm going to take a pause here to jump out of the slides and to actually go into a DFP account so you guys are able to see how this actually works in an account. So give me 1 second here while I pull up my DFP account for you guys. And then we can take a look at how this is actually done. All right. So here we are in our Pure Boston DFP account. And the first thing, before I move on to too quickly, I just wanted to show you guys one more time where you can find that network ID. It's right here if you go to the admin screen and you go here to the network code. You want to send that to us. And then the last step that we did as well was to do your bulk upload. So you had that CSV file that we will provide to you. So you're going to go in and you're going to do a control find, and I like to do a replace. And wherever it says my call letters, and this one I've already done it, but wherever it says my call letters, you're going to replace it with your actual call letters or whatever add unit prefix you've determined for your station. So there's 12 instances in this file. Click OK, and that's it. Then you're going to save the file to your desktop or wherever you want for easy access locally. And then you're going to come back to DFP and you're going to click on that bulk upload new add unit and choose your file from your desktop. It does take a second to upload. It gives you a validation to let you know that everything has gone through properly. And then you can move on to the next step. The next step is actually associating the line items with your orders. So here I am on the Orders tab. I see this is the order I want to show in Responsive. I'm going to click on it and find my delivering line item. Click on my line item. And I automatically end up here on the Settings tab. So the first thing that you want to do is choose your inventory sizes. And if you're familiar with DFP, you're going to notice there are these little question marks that give really great advice about what each field does. So this is where you enter the inventory sizes for the creatives you want to use. You can enter more than one size, and in this case, you want to use all of the sizes available in Core Publisher. So that's going to be your 320 by 50. And once you start typing in the field, it's actually going to autocomplete for you as well. 300 by 250 medium rectangle. We already have the 728 by 90. And you can just click outside of the box and then you'll see that they're there. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom to that Add Targeting section. And then you want to click on the Add Units folder. You can start typing here in this field your add unit prefix. So my add unit prefix in this account is Aaron. And here are all of the add unit names that I just uploaded from my CSV file. And I can choose, I don't have to choose each one unless I want it to show up in that placement on my Core Publisher site. So if I want something to show up in my first medium one 300 by 250 rectangle, then I would click Include. If I wanted to show on tablet, I'd click Include. Same goes for mobile. And then if you have something that you might have put in there but you've changed your mind, you can easily click the X, and that's going to take it out of that spot. Before you move away from the save, you want to make sure you save. If you don't save, then it's not going to show up. And I usually tell people to give it about 45 minutes. You'll also probably see this overbooking message. It's totally fine. You can save and overbook. And that way you're able to add your placement for where you want your ad to show on your core publisher responsive site. There are some other setting options up here in the adjust and deliver section that are optional. If you have anything that that is a little bit more complicated, I would certainly recommend taking a look at the question boxes here in the settings area, as well as the adjust delivery options, to take a look at the options that you have. These are optional, but there's something that you can take a look at if you're interested in having something a little bit more complicated as far as delivering impressions. So this is all you have to do for your core publisher responsive site. That's all that you'll have to do to actually get ads delivering. Like I said, give it about 45 minutes or an hour before you check your site. It does take a little while for DFP to talk to core publisher for those changes. So give it about 45 minutes to an hour before you check your site to see if they're showing up. But that's all you're required to do. And then going forward, when you create new ads, you would come here and select your ad units to get them placed on your core publisher site. Now, there is a little bit of additional information that we can go over that is specific to custom targeting. So I'm going to go back to my slides now, and we'll talk a little bit about custom targeting. All right, so this is a little bit of advanced information. You're not required to do custom targeting if you want ads to show up, but we have created the tool in Core Publisher that will allow you to do that. So we have upgraded Core Publisher so that it can understand what custom targeting is, and you can do it. There is some support materials from Google that I would certainly recommend you taking a look at, and I'll make sure I put this in the chat window so you can see it as well. Oops, sorry. But this is a wonderful support center that Google has. With digital services, we are very happy to show you how to do this initial setup for your DFP account so that you can have things talking to each other in your responsive team. However, we do not have anyone on staff that specializes in underwriting or ad targeting, and so we certainly can show you today how to get started. But if you have any additional questions, we recommend you taking a look at the Google Support Center. They have a lot of great information, and it really will be helpful for you to look there for any additional custom targeting questions. What is custom targeting? Custom ad targeting allows you to target ads to show up or not show up on specific pages on your site. For example, if you are setting up an ad to only show up on the local music program page, or if you're setting up all of your ads to not display on a specific business partnership page, you can now do that in Core Publisher Responsive using DFP. All ad targeting does happen in DFP. It is not anything you have to do in Core Publisher. And before setting up your custom ad targeting, if you are interested in doing it, you should definitely discuss a strategy with your team internally. You want to ask a few questions, but this is just something to help get you started. Does this ad need to be targeted, and where should it be targeted? What's the benefit of ad targeting? Will I get the same benefit from having my ad set up as run of site? Run of site, or ROS, just means that anytime there is an ad block, the ad will show. To set up custom ad targeting, you have to add your custom targeting keys to get started in DFP. So the first thing that you're going to do is, as I mentioned, we have updated responses so that you will have the ability to find custom targeting keys in Core Publisher. So the first thing you want to do is go to the actual page that you want to target. If it's a program page, you want to go directly to that program page. If it's a category page or a people page, or even if it's a post, you want to go directly to that page itself, and you want to take the following steps. When you're on that page, you want to right-click, and depending on what browser you're on, you might have the option of viewing the page source if you right-click, or if you're in Safari, you may have to turn on the source code option using the development tool. It's a little bit more complicated in Safari, so for anyone that's a Mac user, I would recommend doing it in Firefox if you have Firefox, just because it makes it easier. So you're going to right-click and you're going to view your page source to see the page's source code. Once you right-click and you see the page's source code, you're actually going to want to do a control find or command find, and you want to find the word targeting. Once you locate the word targeting in your source code, you're going to look for a key value pair. You're going to see something that looks very similar to what you see on the screen here. There's the word targeting, and after the word targeting in brackets, you're going to find your key value pairs. The first option is your key, so it's going to be in quotes and then separated with a colon. And the second option you'll see is your value. So they are a pair. You'll see that if multiple pairs will be separated by a comma, and then you'll see the same format. You'll see your key in quotes and then a colon that separates the key from the value, and the value will be in quotes as well. So you have multiple targeting options within one page or one page that you're on. The key value pair is a set of two linked data items that really just identify where you want this, this targeting to occur. So in this example above, you see there is a key value pair type and ag. The key value pair that targets an ad to all aggregation pages. All aggregation pages are basically any page with a river on it besides the home page. So aggregation pages are people pages, programs, topics, categories, and tags. So you can target to specifically show this ad on any aggregation page on your site, any and all aggregation pages on your site. The second key value pair you see in this example is ag equals home page. So if you use this key value pair, I landed on the home page. This is the page that you're seeing the source code for. So it's giving me ag equals homepage as a targeting option. So if I wanted to have an ad show up only or specifically on my homepage, I would use the custom targeting key value pair ag equals homepage. So why don't we try this out on an actual site so you guys can see what this looks like. So I'm going to navigate here in my browser. So give me 1 second to pull that up for you guys. And I'm going to go to a site that it only will show up on responsive sites, the key value pairs. So if you try to navigate to your live site right now, you're not going to be able to find the information that I'm discussing now in your source code. It's only going to show up if you are on a responsive site. Unfortunately, it's not coded in the modular and river sites. So here I am on Michigan Radio. I just right-click, and I have the option to view page source, so I'm going to click on that. And it's a lot of code, so I want to right away do my control find and type in the word targeting, and there it is. And what I like to do is copy that code and either paste it into a plain text editor or something that is, so I won't have to kind of stay on this huge page, and I can just find the code that I want. So I'm just going to copy this, and my plain text editor is not there. I'm just going to open up the text editor. And I'm going to paste this in. And that way I have it kind of nice and clean, so it's not as difficult to recognize. So here I am. Here's my targeting information. And I was on their homepage, so I can see I have those same options that I just had and in my example here. But if I wanted to target something a little bit more specifically, so if I wanted to go to a specific program page like stateside, so I wanted to target something specifically to stateside, I'm going to click on that and actually navigate myself to the page, and then I'm going to find the source code there. There it is. Do a control find for targeting. There's my code. And they already have ads on here, so that's why you're seeing like medium 1, medium 2, medium 3 there. If you're looking in that deeply in the code. And so here is the custom targeting options for that specific page. Let me broaden this a little bit for you guys. So we want to say, if I want to target specifically to this program page, I want to have my ad only show up on the program page stateside. You can see it has a few different options here. I can target to the program, so I can target specifically to stateside. So it tells me if the program, if in the source code there is a target for program, and there is a key for program and a value for stateside with Cynthia Canty, then that is the custom targeting I want to put into DFP as my key value pair. If I wanted to target a little bit more broader, so if I want my ad to show up on any program page, any and all program pages, then I would look at the custom target pair type equals program. So that's telling me that anytime if the source code has the key type and the value program, then my ad will show up. So now that you understand where to find the source code, let me show you guys how to get that information into DFP. So you're going to log into your DFP account, and you're going to go to the Inventory tab. Once you get to the Inventory tab, you're going to see on the left-hand side there is another navigation. And in that navigation, you want to click on Custom Targeting. Once you get to Custom Targeting, you're going to see there's a button at the top that says New Key, and you want to click on that red New Key button. Once you click on that button, you're going to need to add your key value pairs. So the first thing you're going to do is enter in your key. Your key is going to go in the name field, and then you're going to click on the red Add Value button. And then your value is going to go into a value field. And this is what the value field looks like. And you can have, keys can have multiple values. So if you're on a different page, you still might see the key add, but if you're on a category page, you might see add equals events, or whatever your category is called. So a key can have multiple values. You can set up as many custom targeting keys as you like and as you need. And you can make them as broad or as granular and kind of small to the detail of a specific post as you want. The first thing that you have to do, though, is make sure you get those custom target key value pairs into DFP. Once you get those key value pairs into DFP, then they will be available for you to use on your orders. So you want to then go to your Orders tab and click on the name of the order with the ad that you want to display on your responsive site and you want to add custom targeting to. You're going to select the line item that you want to display on your site and add that custom targeting to. And you want to scroll down again to that Add Targeting section. The Add Targeting section also has a section in it. So to the left, you're going to see a section that says Custom Criteria. You want to click on that Custom Criteria option. And then you'll see there is a type text field where you can start typing. It will autocomplete for you. And you just want to start typing in your key. And again, that was in the name field that you added in the previous section. So you're going to start typing your key. It will autocomplete and show you all of the keys that you have in the system. And then next, you want to add in your value. So you can start typing in, and it will autocomplete again and show you all the values that are in the system related to that key. Once you get both of those done, you want to click on Add Set. And it's going to add it to the selected criteria for that ad. If you want to set up an ad to not show up on a specific page or pages, that's called negatively targeting. And if you want to negatively target the ad, you need to select, you'll see there's a drop down here after you enter your key, and it normally says is as by default. But if you don't want something to show up, then you can change that default to is not, just by selecting the, clicking on the drop down menu. And just wanted to mention again, if you are having questions and you want to set up something with custom targeting, I certainly would recommend going to the Google console and taking a look at the information there on key value pairs. It's really helpful to help understand how this works. So I'm just going to go into the tool one more time and show you guys these options within DFP. We're getting close to our 3 o'clock hour here, so I will start taking questions in about a minute or two once I go through these steps. So go ahead and add your questions in now if you haven't gotten into the system. Give me 1 second to jump out of my slides and go into my DFP account. All right, so you want to click on the Inventory tab, and then you're going to see on this left toolbar, Custom Targeting. And you want to add a new key. You're going to see there is, anytime you enter a key or you enter key value pairs, you're going to see that this table will update, and this is where you can go back and edit them in the future. So you want to add a new key. In the name field, I'll take an example from here. I'm going to use, I want target for this specific program. So in the name field, I'm going to use program. And then click Add Value. And in the values, I'm going to use state size or it's county. County as my value. I'm going to click Apply and Save. So it's telling me I already have this key in there. So, but if you want to go back and then change or edit any of your custom value keys or targets, you can come here and you can edit those. Once you have your custom targeting in the system, you can apply it to an order. You're going to go to your live order that's delivering. You're going to find a delivering line item. And you are going to scroll all the way down to the ad targeting section. You're going to click on custom criteria. You're going to start to type in your key, and then you're going to enter in your value. So whatever my value is. Oh. And you can select it from here. Sometimes, depending on your browser, you can just click outside of the box and it will add it to the selected criteria section. And remember, this is sending all of this information to Core Publisher to tell your ad where it should be placed and how it should be placed there. You can add multiple key value pairs if you'd like, and then you can also delete or take them away. And you always want to make sure you click Save before you walk away from the page. All right, so it looks like we have a few questions here, so I'm going to get to those questions now. Someone had a question about the inventory sizes. Why do you enter all the inventory sizes? So if you get to this inventory sizes section, and for example, I didn't enter in the 728 by 90, or I didn't enter in the 320 by 50, and I only entered the 300 by 250. It's only going to show me ad units that are the size 300 by 250. So if I wanted to show, I wanted this to show up in the banner at some point, I wouldn't see the banner option here because I only entered 300 by 250 as my inventory size. So it's only showing me inventory options for that size. But if at some point I wanted this ad to show up on my mobile or in my tablet or in any of those areas, then I would need to make sure I had my inventory sizes updated. So it's just easier to have all the inventory sizes in there to begin with instead of having to go back and change that later. That was a good question. Does every ad have to be in all sizes? Oh, it's kind of the same one that I just answered, I think. Let me know if you have something more specific you wanted to know. If you are, or maybe you might be asking about the creative. So if you want your ad to show up in all of those size options, then you'll have to create a creative that is, you have to create separate size creatives. So this creative only has one size in it. This is the tablet size. It's a banner ad. It's a 728 by 90 image. So if I wanted this banner ad to also show up in my 300 by 250, I would have to use a new creative. I would have to add a creative that was a 300 by 250 size. That might answer that question better. We had a question about placements for ads. Medium 1, Medium 2, Medium 3 show up in tablets as well as desktop. Yes, they do. So you will have all medium rectangle block options as well as the top banner ad 728 by 90 on tablet. If I want to add it to my home page, and that's all, is that okay? Yes. So if you want ads to only show up on your home page, you would have to do the custom targeting steps that I just showed you guys. And then that way your ads will only show up on your home page. They won't show up anywhere else on your site. There are some different options for homepage placement. So let's go take a look at an actual site. And Rakisha will go over this in further detail next week. But this is a site, Michigan Radio, who has placed their ads in a specific region in their homepage layout. So they have their medium rectangle ads placed in there. It's kind of similar to your right rail, but they have it placed there specifically. You also might want to decide to not place your ads in a specific region, and they will follow in by default into your homepage river. So if you're a station that's using the homepage river and you have the homepage river on your homepage, your ads will show up right aligned to that homepage river. I'm trying to see if I can find an example of a station that's using ads and that have them showing up to in the homepage river. Let me show you an example. All right, guys, have lots of questions, so I'd be happy to stay on the line if you have some time to stay on the line. Certainly stay on the line and I'll get to your questions. I have some time to hang out here. So there are 3 300 by 250 ad spaces that can be displayed in your homepage. You have 3 options for placing your ads on your homepage. Ads can display in your homepage news river. That's one option. Your ads can display, if you want to pick and choose 1 or 2 specific ads to show up above the fold, you can place them yourself to show up above the fold. And then you can have any remaining ads show up in your homepage news river. Or you can choose to control all of your ads and have your ads placed in a specific place using the homepage layout manager. So what does that mean? This is the homepage layout manager that you guys are going to get to know next week with Rakisha. This is an example of what will happen with your ads. You're going to see a block bullpen, and you're going to see all of your medium 300 by 250 blocks are in that block bullpen, all 3 of them. Your top banner ad will automatically be placed. If you have added an ad unit with the top banner option in your DFP account, then that will automatically make it show up underneath your navigation. You don't have to place it or do anything with your top banner ad. But for your medium blocks, if you want all 3 of your blocks to show up in your homepage river, that's by default. This is what it will do if you do nothing. Then your homepage river block just needs to be placed in your layout manager, and the system will do it for you. So in your homepage river block, the ad will show up right next to the post content. There's a little line that separates the post content from the ad, and all 3 blocks by default will show up there if you do nothing. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is if you have maybe 1 ad that you know has to show up above the fold, but you want the other ones to follow the default and just show up in the homepage river, you can go into the blocks bullpen and you can move that 1 ad over into the place where you want it to show. So I want this ad to show up at the top of my homepage in the right-hand corner. But I want the other 2 medium rectangles to show up in my river, just in the default location. So you can just place that 1 block, and then the other ones will show up by default in the river. And this is what it looks like. I've chosen to place this America's Favorite Pastime block. I've moved it into my top right in my Region B area. And then my other 2 ads, they're just showing up right in with my river by default. So that's option 2. Option 3 is that you may decide that you want to place all of your blocks. You don't want them to show up in your homepage river, and you want to place them in a specific region on your homepage. So I decided I'm going to pull my block bullpen medium ad 1, 2, and 3 into my Region B. Here's medium 1. If I wanted my medium 3 and medium 2, I just pull those over.